This video is for Greenville University's BUSN 201 Business Communication course. This is Chapter 10, Writing the Report, Part 2. So we're going to jump right back in. We're going to talk about documenting and refining. Documenting sources is incredibly important. You don't want to be accused of plagiarism. You don't want to use someone else's work without giving them credit for it. It is an academic sin, basically. And at Greenville University, after 3 instances of plagiarism, you can be asked to leave the university. We don't want that to happen, okay? So, reasons we document our sources, again, avoiding plagiarism, document everything. If you get information from another source, document it. To me personally, it does not matter if you have tons of sources in your paper. That's fine. I would rather you over document your sources than under document them and be accused of some kind of plagiarism. We also, again, want to give credit to the originator of that particular information. We want to demonstrate the validity of our work with credible sources. What we generally say in at least academic writing is until you have your degree, you don't know anything. Okay? And that's not trying to be mean or to talk down to someone. That means we need to get that information and show that it came from someone who has researched this thoroughly, who has done studies, who has looked into this whole thing that we're discussing and has the credibility to talk about it. And we do that by documenting our sources. We also want to be able to instruct readers where they can find additional information. So how do we do this? I want you to pause for a minute and I want you to think about how you can paraphrase the paragraph below. And I want you to do it 2 ways. I want you to paraphrase it retaining the quote in one version and then paraphrase it without the quote. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pause and let you guys do that. Okay, so if you retain the quote, or even if you omit the quote and just paraphrase it, you still need to document that. How we document that, there's 2 things we do. We have a reference page where we include a list of every citation, every source that we used. You cannot just give the website and have that count as a citation. That does not work. You cannot do that. That is not citing your sources. Okay? This is how we cite a source. For an article, if you're citing an article you found, you're going to put the author's name. If there's more than one author, we're going to list them all. The year it was published, the title of the article, the title of the journal or publication or periodical it appears in, the volume number of that periodical, issue number, and pages. And then its DOI number. Every online article, every scholarly online article has a DOI number. If it is an article from a website that's not necessarily an academic website, it might just have a website, and that's fine. That's where you put that URL there. So an example of what this would look like. This is a real one, by the way. The article, or the author, Snow, K.R. Written in 2021, so I have the year there. The title of the article was The Professor's Puzzle, A Review and Reflection. This appeared in the Christian Business Association Review. It was in the spring 2021 volume. It's on pages 91 to 93 of that volume, and there is its fake DOI. That's not the real DOI. I didn't include the real DOI in there just because I didn't want to for this particular purpose. For a website, last name, year, month. For a website it's not an article, if you're just referencing a website, okay? Last name of the author. If there's no author, if it is just a company that's providing that information, you would put the company name there, okay? Year, month, and date. Year, at least, and it's going to be at the bottom of the website. It's going to say copyright 2022, copyright 2020, copyright 1983, probably not 1983. The title of the page you found it on. So if it's the About Us section of Hershey's, okay, you're going to put About Us. The site name, again, that's going to be at the bottom in that information on the very, very bottom of the page, and then the URL. So what that would look like: snow.k.r, 2023, February 21st, how to be the best professor ever, fake website is a site name, and a fake URL. For a book, author, year publication, title of work, make sure you capitalize it if it's also a subtitle, publisher name, DOI if available. So, again, this is a fake book, snow.k.r, years 2023, accounting is the best subject ever, by the Yale, or published by the Yale University Press. Okay, so this is how, these are the three main types of things you're going to be referencing. If you're referencing an interview, look up, and again, these are all in APA style, look up APA style interviews. If you are referencing an interview and you have questions, you can't find really good information, but I'm going to show you how to find that good information in a minute. You can always send your professor an email and they can help you with how to cite that correctly. The other side of citations, the other side of documenting something is in-text citations. You have to use in-text citations. Okay? So, when to use an in-text citation? Did you directly quote someone? Is it in quotation marks in your paper, or is it in a block quote? You're going to cite it in text. You're going to cite it at the end. You're also going to cite it in text. So it's going to say Snow, the author's name, the year, and the page number it's on. Okay? What this allows the reader to do is, as they're reading your document, they go, oh, and if they read this quote and they want to know more about this author, they want to look at other things by that particular person, they're going to say, okay, well, this was written by Snow. I'm going to go to the references in the back and find the citation for Snow and then look up that article. It's a lot cleaner than just putting the whole citation in text. We don't want to do that, okay? So this is your in-text part of this. Did you paraphrase a quote? Directly after that paraphrase, you need to do something like this: the author's last name and first initial and the year. Snow, K.2021. Did you use someone else's general idea? Did you paraphrase their whole idea in some text? That's fine. Snow, K.2021. Author, year. Did you use two or more general authors' ideas? Maybe you found multiple sources that are saying the same thing. Cite them all. Cite any source that you yourself used. So we have three here, three separate sources. You would put the author's name and the year, and then you would put a colon. Next author's name, year, put a semicolon. Last author's name, year, and then a period at the end. Are there two authors of this article? Maybe two people wrote it together. This is how you would do that. Whichever author appears first, that's the one you're going to list first. So Snow, their name, comma, and the other author, and then the year. Okay? Are there more than two authors? We're going to list the first one, and then we're going to put something called an et al. Okay, so we're going to put et space al dot, or period, and that's going to indicate to the reader that there were multiple authors on this particular part. So this is all confusing probably, and especially if you've not done this before. Websites and programs that I recommend to help you. Go to Google and search for Purdue OWL, okay? You can select APA, you can select MLA. Again, for business writing, it's generally APA style. They give a great overview of how to do all of this. They have a generator that you can put in a website and it will help you cite it. They are fantastic at helping cite sources. Grammarly also has some citation things it can do. Not Grammarly free. So for the free version of Grammarly, only really checks your grammar. If you pay for Grammarly though, which if you're a college student, I would recommend you pay for it. It helps you a ton in your writing. But if you pay for Grammarly, they have if you write something far enough in advance, like several days in advance or more, they have a thing on there that they will go through and see if your information can be found in any other sources. Okay, to make sure you're citing things correctly. They have a part of that program that allows that to happen, and it's fantastic. It works really well. If you have a ton of citations you're using for something, or you want to keep track of all the different sources you use, I would recommend something like Zotero. Zotero is a platform that you can put in all the information for a book, and it'll create the citation for you in any style that you select. However, it is a little more complex. If you go with this one, I can help you figure it out. It might not be a good option for you now if you're going to get a master's degree or a doctorate one day. This is definitely something I would look into. All right, last part, refining our report. We revise for 3 different things. We revise for content, for style, and for correctness. When revising for content, we want to make sure we've included sufficient information. We've excluded any extra or extraneous information. All the information is accurate. All the information is presented in an efficient and logical sequence. Revising for style. Are our words clear and simple and concise? Are we using a variety of sentence types? Do we have paragraphs? Are they unified? Are they coherent? Do we have confident and sincere objective tones? Do we have that appropriate emphasis and subordination in our writing style? And then revising for correctness is where we're going to go back and correct any errors, grammar, spelling, punctuation, word usage. Or did we send it to a colleague and they caught something that we need to fix, that we overlooked? You need to format, and you also need to proofread. When you format, use a consistent, logical format, keeping the readers in mind. Make sure you proofread things. Kind of a trick I use when I proofread, especially if it's something really long. One thing you can do is read it back to yourself out loud, because you catch more mistakes that way. If you don't want to read it to yourself, maybe you're sitting in your dorm room with your headphones on and you don't want to like sit there and read a paper out loud to yourself while your roommate's hanging out doing their homework as well. Copy and paste sections of your paper into Google Translate and tell it to read it back to you in English. It'll do that. That's what I do with really long emails, actually. All right, this is all of Chapter 10. And again, this video was for Greenville University's BUSN 201 course. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, make sure to email your professor. Make sure you do the homework for this chapter. Have a great rest of your day.